That back row, arguably the other 2 rows in front of it, the only reason those other 2 rows exist is to protect the back row. That's the whole reason they're in the game, is to protect the back row, right? So your back row is your forever hold properties. Forever hold. You know, it's like a field. The field grows, the corn gets up to here. The farmer doesn't go, oh boy, corn's up to here, let's sell the field. Oh, just cuts the corn. Replants it. Lets it grow again. That back row is the sacred back row. The next row, closer to the front, is your cycle holds. That's 7 to 10 year old cycle hold property. You're going to let it grow for a while. You're going to let it go through a season of growth. But they're not the back row forever properties. And of course the ponds are your assignments, your flips, your ins and outs. They're out of the game before they're even in the game, right? They're just quick. They're usually cash producing taxable income type opportunities. Think about that one. Another principle under the bucket. We're in the bucket now of toolbox. Well, toolbox has this big bucket called hold. And holding property is the only way you're ever going to create wealth in real estate. And you know, I'm not saying that you can't do a cash business of buy and flips, assignments, wholesale kind of opportunities. But those profits have got to be transferred into long-term hold assets that grow over time. Because when you can start using, just think of it almost like physics, pulling in a direction. You've got a rent that's paying down the principal. There's an arrow going that way. You've got over time a property that's getting more valuable going in this direction. And all the while you've got write-offs that allow you to offset other taxable events. It's like a trifecta of the best of all worlds for long-term ownership of real estate. Now, arguably, there are areas that have, over time, appreciated more than other areas of the country, right? So you've got to know, am I in an appreciation area or am I in a cash flow area, right? Where am I going to expect to get my gains from? But the beauty of those areas that don't appreciate usually have much greater cash flow on the acquisition, which allows you to pay the principal down in a much more aggressive way. Right? So you can still get to a free and clear property through that means, therefore still getting the kind of equity you want. But hold is a key, okay? I want you to declare, if you would for me, that you are all contractors. Can we just agree to that? You're all contractors. Can we just say we're a contractor? Now notice I didn't say builder. A builder is a skilled craftsman with tools that knows how to put things together. But a contractor contracts, right? And so I've got students all over the country that are, you know, I think of Dorothy in Seattle and her Range Rover, her Christian Louboutin, you know, high heels and her Jill Sander leather pants, and she is one hell of a contractor, right? A 70-year-old lady that just kicks ass like you can't believe, as a contractor, because she can write a contract that is bulletproof. So when we think about our business as a contractor, therefore we can create. We're not just looking for existing things. We can create what isn't there. And it's so fun to watch. Like if I had Lindy up front right now as one of my students from Seattle, Lindy has $26 million of real estate under construction this minute. And she's a contractor to build her own real estate. Why wouldn't you, right? So you see an opportunity like this. This is a high-density multifamily piece of dirt that is a 20 on a 10 scale of location. And every developer, builder, real estate person on the planet has tried to buy this thing and has tried to deal with the guy that owns this property. This is his house right here. That little thing right there. It's 12 by 18. That's his house. And he's just an ornery old guy that's owned this property forever, and that's his house, and get off my property, right? And so the reason I put this one up there is one, I want to show you that if I can contract something like this, you can too. It's just learning how to do it. But the second thing is that when someone gets run off a property, like run off with somebody screaming at them, usually that's all it takes. They don't come back. And yet when you have intention around something, intention is declaring what's happened before it's happened. It is that focused. That doesn't sway you. You just start looking for a new strategy. You start figuring out if that knocking on the door and just being direct didn't work. Well, you start thinking about what might work. How can I come at this? How do I develop a relationship with this guy so that someday he or his heirs think of me when they want to sell this property, right? So I was building an office building on the other side of that fence. And I was working by myself on a Sunday because I always love cutting stairs. I don't let anybody else cut stairs. I cut stairs. And it's like this little Zen thing for me to go out with 2x12s and get out my nice square and draw them out. Cut my triangles for my rise and run. It's like, makes life real clear. And I'm cutting stairs all day on a Sunday. These little triangles are stacking up, right? And I notice he's heating his little house with a wood stove. I could see the wood smoke coming out of his chimney, and I thought, God, this is my end. These would work perfect in his wood stove, right? So I fill up a wheelbarrow and I start, come through the fence, and I think, how far is the distance a shotgun can hurt? and about 50 yards out, I start yelling, Harry, I've got wood for you. I'm coming in with some wood. And he busts out of his shed, hey, get off my property. And he starts screaming and yelling. And I go, I've got wood. And he goes, dump it there. And I just dumped it there, right? And I said, I'll bring some more tomorrow. Hey, get off my property. And anyway, the next day, I bring my next little load of wood, and I could see that my wood pile had been picked on. It's kind of like he's been in my cheese, right? And I go, oh, he likes this little wood pile. I got the next one a little closer. This delivery of wood went on for over 5 years. I built hundreds of units within 5 miles of this property. And so I just turned it into a once a month. I'd cut up all the little scraps and throw them in a pickup. And okay, it was just my excuse. He had more wood in that place than he'd ever burn in that stove. But that was not the point after a while. It was my excuse to back in. And finally, it turned into where he wouldn't yell at me, back in. And he'd come out and drop the tailgate. It was like a system. I'd get in the back of the truck. I'd stack up little piles on the end of the tailgate, and he'd carry them and throw them in a pile. And it took us 20 minutes. And I'd ask questions, and he would never answer me. I said, Harry, how's it going? Have you done anything fun lately? And he'd just like, okay, this went on forever. And one day, he shows up in my office, and Jamie says, hey, that guy you bring wood to, he's in the lobby. Harry's in my lobby? The whole thing? She goes, yeah. I go, God, does he have a gun? Is he? And I go out in the lobby, I go, Harry, how's it going? And he starts screaming, county's going to take my property. County's going to take my property. I'm like, nobody's going to take your property. Calm down. Come on, let's go to the lunchroom. Get you out of my lobby, right? And he shows me his paperwork. And he's a week away from a tax foreclosure. And I said, okay, all right, but you can still pay it off. Here's how much, a little over $15,000 is what he was behind in taxes. And I said, okay, well, Harry, first, you owe $15,000 to back taxes. That's what this is about, and we got to pay it, or yeah, they're going to put it on the blocks, and believe me, it'll go. So Don't worry, it's not gonna happen. We're gonna solve this. Thanks for coming by. But Harry, let me ask you, what are you gonna do with your property? What's the long-term game? I mean, are you gonna stay there forever? Are you gonna sell it? Are you gonna move? I mean, he says, I want to stay here for a year, and then I'm gonna move to Arizona to be with my brother. Oh my God, you have a brother? Wow, I don't know. I remember thinking that, like Tasmanian devils. I said, okay, you want to stay there for a year, but then you're gonna sell it and move. Yeah. I said, okay, well, here's how we're gonna solve this.